now we make all of our jobs go out of country, and then we have to pay to get all of our products back in. And that we do that because people think it's cheaper. I mean, it gives you a cheaper consumer price, and that's where you get things like Walmart, which I call the devil company. But then when it's so much easier to buy those things that are so much cheaper, because Americans are really, really cheap, we are. We like things that are really high quality, but not that much money, which you can't find. But so then when they do that, all of our American-made stuff, I mean, it has to have a price where they can actually make some sort of value from it. Like, they have to, you know, that's how business works. And when everyone is buying what's cheaper, all of those American-made companies are going out of business or having to outsource.
Capitalism works the best when you're able to take advantage of other people's labor. When you're able to extract money for the good of the corporation based on somebody else's labor. This is happening because we're over outsourcing jobs to overseas. And when we're able to pay somebody much less in China and India, products in general will be much cheaper, and therefore there will be more money for that corporation like Walmart.
Along with the whole outsourcing of the jobs, what I would like to express is, can America really call itself free if its jobs are not open here in America? I mean, if you're not able to go out and find yourself a job that pays for yourself, is it really free? Like, the outsourcing gives us all the goods we have, but it doesn't give us the money to pay for those goods. If we're sending all our money overseas, how are we going to have the money to pay for the things that are produced overseas?
With that, it's like back in the 60s or 70s, Detroit was Motor City. And now it's like millions, not millions, perhaps like 50, but like a bunch of car factories are just done. They're empty buildings, like a husk of an old American dream.
Right, well, there's always the question of how free exactly do we think we are? Or American in general. I mean, sure, way back when George Washington was the president, they were free. The people had a bunch of rights, all sorts of things. They didn't have all the consumerism we have now. But now we have laws being formed right underneath our noses that we have no say in.
I think the biggest part of freedom is exploration of your own consciousness and freedom to explore your own mind. I think the laws against substance or parts of nature that help you explore your own mind, that is not a free country. In the external world, there are laws that make us, you know, don't allow us to have freedom like other countries, and more freedom than other countries. But at the same time, when we are not able to explore our own mind or access parts of our mind, it is not free. It's not a free nation.
I'd like to add on to that and to say that the government introduced a lot of the drugs that are out there today, and then they took them away when they realized that people are actually thinking. They don't want people to think. They want people to be under complete mind control. I kind of am a believer in conspiracy theories, so I'm a little far-fetched, but I do believe that they don't want people to think for themselves. That is what causes people to rebel.
Freedom of what exactly? We have the freedom to, I mean, drive a car when we're in a certain amount of age, or drink when we're a certain age. It's like there's strict regulations on just regular ways of life. And just, this is the way people have lived for a while. But I mean, there's freedom, but it should be organized. It's like if people were completely free with zero restrictions, there'd be complete anarchy, like buildings destroyed and just worse for the wear. So it's like are we in a better situation now? Well, the people at the government want to make it seem that way, when really in the video it said our country is one of the countries that has the most people incarcerated. We spend the most on defense work, and we believe in angels. And it's like freedom, and then also people are trying to shove America down the throats of countries that have existed longer than America has been even a footprint. We're a baby compared to China and Russia and England. It's like, it's mind-blowing.
Even with what people think is freedom nowadays, what they regard themselves as free now is being severely restricted. I mean, the last school shooting, it is terrible. It's absolutely awful. But if you blame the shooting on the guns, I honestly, as a student, can blame my failed tests on my pencil.
Yeah.
You don't blame the inanimate object. It doesn't have a mind. You blame the person behind it. Guns aren't bad. People behind them usually are. You look at countries that have restricted their guns, like England. I'm the first one to admit, I'm probably the only English person you'll ever know to ever say this. It's ridiculous. The gun laws over in England, they're no better. They really aren't. People, instead of using guns, they use knives. And now there's knife laws being put up. I guarantee you, the minute you take all knives away, they'll start using their fists. They'll find something to kill someone else with. So the freedom that we have now it's not really free, and it's getting even worse.
So what you're saying is freedom that we have is not really freedom at all.
Exactly, it's not really freedom at all. I'm saying everyone is... To rephrase this, I'm saying the majority of people are quite arrogant to the situations of living right now. And they're quite arrogant to the true definition of freedom. And they're living on this cloud of delusion. And living off of what people tell them. Primarily, the government, and them being basically zombies. Voting for what the government wants them to vote for. Doing what the government wants them to do. There's no true definition of freedom with a government.
I mean, the concept
Of government is good. It's a good concept.
Well, there's varying degrees of concepts. Democracy, America, it's worked out fairly well. Monarchy in England, houses of royalty, that's working out pretty well. Communism, if you brought down communism to its direct definition instead of brought up to where it is now, communism as a defined concept is community living, everyone taking from each other, but it's turned into a bad idea.
And the same would go with capitalism. I mean, the real problem with anything with an ism at the end is the fact that there's a human involved. I mean, you could have any ideology and think that it's good on paper, but when you add humans into the equation, it becomes a disaster. I mean, with capitalism, with communism, with anything, socialism, you have the problem is that humans don't obey by just laws in a book or laws on pieces of paper. The problem with America and capitalism is that we thought that selling goods and creating a corporate system was going to be able to help other people and, you know, create this ideal lifestyle. It's created a very fast separation in demographics and wealth. There is a large percentage of the population that has a large amount of the money, and the rest that have nothing. And this is the problem with capitalism, and this is what it's turned into. As well with communism. Communism was meant to create community, but there are people that are suffering because of it. And same goes with capitalism. Same goes with socialism. Nothing is ideal.
just imagine if if America was a communist society. I mean, none of us would have the worry about having to, you know, move out of our parents' house soon because it makes us look like a loser or whatever, because we'd already have our own places and apartments, and we'd already have a car and things like that. But the downside of that is you can't branch out as an individual in a communist society. You can't, you know, if you're trying to be a lawyer, it doesn't even matter because the guy at the gas station is making the exact same amount of money as you. And yeah, you just gotta put yourself in the shoes of other people.